Women's basketball program. Head coach Jory Collins, student athletes Heaven Hamling and Abby Draper. Normal press conference format will be we'll do an opening statement from coach. We'll take questions from the student athletes, dismiss the student athletes, and come back for questions for coach. As always, we do have a microphone in the house. Please make sure to state your name and affiliation prior to your question. Go ahead with your opening statement, coach.
Yeah, first I want to congratulate Kelsey and Ora Roberts on a great year. She's done a great job in 2 years there, and I was fortunate enough to get to coach her in our D2 days as well, and she runs her system as well as anybody in how they play and their style of play, and it's always tough to play against. Was really proud of our team and being able to, we knew it was going to be really difficult the way that they run around and trap and press and pressure. We didn't want to turn it over 20 times, and we did, but still managed to make enough good plays out of it, probably to save the game there. So really proud of these two. They were both great today. Just the moment wasn't too big, and I thought handled some situations really, really well between the two of them.
We'll go ahead and open up for questions for the student athletes. We'll go second row then first.
Mike McFeely from the Forum. Heaven, just give us a taste of what it means to get this game. It's a big moment for NDSU women's basketball to get to the title game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we just created history, if I'm not wrong, but that's what I came here to do since, I think, 2019. It's been our goal. And, it's awesome. And to be able to do it with people who care so much and great teammates, it's so special for me. And I'm just glad that we got the opportunity to go out tomorrow and give it our best shot.
Jeff Kovar, the Forum. Abby, describe playing this team. I mean, looks like they're always on, you know.
I mean, it's a very competitive team. They push the pace for us really fast. And I mean, that's how we want to play, but we want to also be able to run our sets and do what we want to do. And it just kind of made it more challenging for us, but we just kind of had to play with composure and be able to fight through that.
Heaven, just talk a little bit about it. It was a choppy game. It wasn't just because of what they did. You never could quite pull away, and you never could get there. You won the game, but it was just a tough way to win.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it is in March. I mean, anything can happen. Shout out to them for really putting the pressure on us. But, we really had to lock in and execute a lot of things at the end. And we made enough plays, and we're able to come out on top.
Evan, it's been 5 years. You're in Georgia alone. Just tomorrow you're playing for a chance at the NCAA tournament. Can you tell me your emotions when I say that?
Yeah, it's so special. I think every year I've wanted it, and this guy gave me an opportunity to come in when I don't even know if I wanted to play basketball, and he gave me a chance, and now we're here.
Abby, Avery had 10 and 10 off the bench. What impact did that have?
I think it was after the first quarter, I got to her and I told her that she had 0 rebounds. And I was like, this is your job, this is your role. And I was like, you're getting 10 today. And she did, in fact, do that. And I was just so proud of her for just kind of like taking that in. And she's like, I need to do my job. And that was a big part of our win today. So,
Abby, you guys did a lot today with Elle on the bench and foul trouble from a lot of players. And so just talk a little bit about, being able to get through that with having your first team all-conference player on the bench for much of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that sucked right away. She got 2 pretty bad fouls, and we had some of our bench players be able to step up and just be a role player out there, and Graham made a pretty good play right off the bench, and I think that was really important for today.
We'll go last question in the back here.
Grant McGinnis from Prep Network. Heaven, I think the first time I saw you in March put on a show, you were in about 8th grade. You seem to love the brightest lights, the biggest moments. How important is it to you to go out and prove that you can do that again at this level tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've always kind of been looked down on maybe because of my size, athletic ability, but, I just come out and I enjoy every moment and I embrace it. And I've always said I play with the heart of a lion, and, I play with my heart every single time, and I think that's what really drives me. But it wouldn't be possible without great teammates, great coaches, and to be able to be surrounded by people who achieve excellence and just strive every single day to be the greatest they can be. That's kind of how I roll.
Thanks, ladies. You can head back to the locker room.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and open up with questions for Coach in the second row.
Just your thoughts on getting to the title game. Again, this is a big moment for NDSU women's basketball.
Yeah, it's it's been a long time coming, Mike. It's this has been a process since we got here of trying to build a culture that's a championship level culture where we get to these kind of games and this becomes who we are regularly. I mean, that's the goal, is not just doing it one time, but finding a way to be sustained excellence and be high achievers every single year and get to those expectations. And you have to believe it. You have to work for it. You also have to have some talented players and people in your program to be able to do it. And we feel like we're getting those kind of kids that are not only really good players, but committed to what we're doing, very, very coachable. It's just a good group in our locker room. And I told him afterwards, I was just really proud that this group put themselves in a position to play for a championship tomorrow. First time ever. There's nothing like those championship games. And I'm glad they get to experience it.
Jory, I heard there was some real emotion in Evan's voice. I'm sure there was in the locker room. Describe that, the journey of getting up here from where things were 5 years ago to now.
Yeah, like I said, it just, 5 years ago seems like eternity. It also feels like yesterday in some other aspects. There's a lot of work to do, and it takes time. Then you throw COVID in there. There's just some other things that kind of plateaued us, for a little bit. But having somebody like Heaven is the one that puts you over the top, because she's the one that was there every single day. She believed every single day. And there's not a better practice player that I've ever had than Heaven. She never takes a practice off, a possession off, a drill off. I mean, she really seriously goes full speed in every single thing we do. And to have somebody that's your best player also be your best practice guy sets the tone for everybody on what the standard is on a daily basis. And when people follow that, like our team does now, it allows you to achieve at a high level.
We'll go last question up front.
Did a 10-point lead ever feel safe considering the way they played? And you led by 10 most of the game. Did
Yeah,
it feel safe?
no, it didn't feel safe, Jeff. I was worried the entire game. There are only 2 or 3 turnovers in a made 3 or an and 1 away from, making it a 1 or 2 possession game. We didn't handle some things very well. At other times we did. I mean, we put a lot of work on Schulte today and asked her to do a lot in handling that out front. And after the first quarter, I thought she did a much better job. But again, those games are chaotic, and people like to do that against us to take us out of system and make us be individual players. And I think that works to an extent, but we also have some talented players, Drapes, that can finish those plays. What we did today without I thought said a lot about the rest of our team. Avery Coonan coming in and getting 10 and 10 off the bench is tremendous work from a sub. That probably wasn't expecting to play 27, 28 minutes today, but came in and got a double-double. It was great to see.
Thanks, Coach.
Great, thank you.
Joining us from Oral Roberts Women's Basketball Program, head coach Kelsey Music, student athletes Hannah Cooper and Ruthie Udomo. Normal format for the press conference will be an opening statement from coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes. We'll dismiss the student athletes, then come back to questions for coach. As always, there is microphone, so please state your name and affiliation ahead of your question. Go ahead with your opening statement, coach.
You know, I'm just extremely proud of my team. You know, the ball didn't really fall for us today. We missed a lot of shots, but the one thing that my players they won't back down. They'll fight till the bitter end. They play extremely hard. They'll fight, like I said, they'll fight for each other. And, you know, Hannah chose to stay here when I first took this job, and she really did buy into this program. And Ruthie chose to commit to us when she was in the portal, and both of them have really helped lay this foundation in the early stages of this program. And I am just blessed at the opportunity to coach them. And I'm just going to be more proud of where we are at this point, but where we're also going. And I think that's probably what the thing I'm the most proud of is we've made strides quickly in a short 2 years. But we have big goals, and, you know, we won't ever stop working.
We'll go ahead with questions for the student athletes. First row.
Madison Van Mulligan with Reaching the Summit. Hannah, you spent 3 years at Tulsa, stayed through a coaching change. You've seen different style offenses, taken on a different role. Personally, what can you just say about your time at ORU and with Coach Music?
Honestly, I always tell people that God brought me to ORU. And, you know, my first year obviously wasn't the best, but I think, you know, with Coach coming and the whole coaching staff and all the girls, it's really just a blessing. You know, I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done for me on and off the floor. But yeah, love them to death.
Mike McFeely from the Forum newspaper in Fargo. Ruthie, coach mentioned it, but you guys, I think defensively did what you wanted to do. You forced him to 20 turnovers and made it into a chaotic game. You're never out of the game, but you just couldn't get going offensively and go on a run. Was it something NDC was doing, or was you guys just cold today, or what was the explanation there?
Honestly, I think we did great. Our shots weren't just falling. You know, we were moving around the ball. We were getting great looks, but, you know, it just wasn't falling for us.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, thanks, ladies. You can head back to the locker room.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead with questions for coach. Start in the first row.
Madison Van Mulligan with Reaching the Summit. Coach, the last time you were held to 12 or less in the first quarter was in the Big Sky Summit Challenge earlier this year with Sacramento State. What about NDSU allowed them to hold you that low?
You know, I think their link gave us a little bit of trouble, but I think the fact that we didn't shift the ball from side to side like we needed to initially, we became a little bit stagnant and took some rush shots, kind of some forced shots in my opinion. And we got to be able to take a few more threes. I mean, we only took 8. Obviously, we didn't make any, but you're not going to make them if you don't take them. So we're going to have to really, that's one thing that we have to do. We got to make the 3 ball to really spread people out and get them out of the paint.
I was going to ask you about the threes. Did you feel like the looks weren't there, or were they there and you just weren't shooting them?
Yeah, I didn't feel like we were taking them like we needed to. I think they were there, but because we weren't making shots closer to the rim, that we kind of, you know, were a little bit hesitant to take that 3. But you got to be able to make the 3 in the dribble drive because it really does open up your driving lanes. Obviously, Ruthie carried us for quite some time in that game, but, you know, we got to be able to take more 3s and we got to knock them down.
Did you do what you wanted to do defensively? I guess I assumed you did because you forced them to 20 turnovers, and they were struggling offensively as well. And Evans got in foul trouble and was on the bench for most of the game.
You know, I think definitely the defensive portion of it, I mean, we did give up some layups, but normally when we give those up, we transition and we go score right back. But the fact that we weren't scoring at a higher rate obviously made it look like maybe our defense wasn't as good. But when you force 20 turnovers against a team like that, they want to screen us. They want to pound it inside. And chaos was allowed us to not allow them to do that. We avoided a lot of screens. We avoided a lot of contact, but we just didn't convert as many of those turnovers into points.
Coach, Makira Tramble got quite a few minutes for you today. She's not really a scorer, but I know she's played for you before, and I noticed you put her back in late in the 4th. What was kind of the reasoning behind that, and what has her presence on the court been like for you?
You know, she's been playing basketball for so long, and I know her her leadership and the fact that she knows kind of how to win. I mean, she hasn't been a scoring threat for us, but she was a D2 Player of the Year, and she can really score at a high rate. She's just still coming off that injury. We've got to get her back in the flow, and I think this offseason will be crucial for her to get back into the flow of things because, I mean, she can really score and really handle the ball, and she's one of our better passers, but she's just got to, like I said, get back in the flow of things and get comfortable moving and being on the, not, I mean, she's obviously been on the team, but being out in the mix of the team on the court is a huge thing to get in the flow.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.